Let's just jump right into the news from the past couple days in the baseball world, or at least in Major League Baseball. But first, let's start off with a couple milestones and records in the case of Shane Bieber, and that is that he is the fastest pitcher to reach 100 strikeouts in 62 and a third of an inning. The Cleveland Indians are making pitchers look great. Their development of starting pitchers must be wonderful because they've traded three really good ones away. And Shane Bieber last year, he was All-Star MVP, made it to the All-Star game, and he's proven this year that it's not just a one and done, or it's not just a outlier year. And he beat out Max Scherzer, who did it in 63 innings. Most pitchers usually get it in 63 innings, but I mean, if you look at Bieber's first two starts, he had 17 strikeouts in those first two starts, and he lost his first game of the season to the Twins and Kenta Maeda, who has been absolutely hot this year. You have two AL Cy Young candidates in the same division, in Maeda and Bieber. You would think, for at least the American League, those two right now are the front runners, at least. But no, the Indians just keep growing these pitchers on trees, it seems like. Because now you got McKenzie coming up, who looked pretty good in his opening debut. Plesac's looked good. We'll see if he can take that next jump and, follow the protocols of this season at least. And probably there will be some in next season as well. But I'm going to hate saying this, but is there any... With Kluber being traded, with Bauer being traded, and with Clevenger being traded, is there any way that they trade Shane Bieber? At least right now. They're not trading him this season. This is looking down the line 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road. Because if you look at the pitchers that they have traded, Kluber, he's starting to get up there in age. That wasn't that big of a trade. His prime years of being an AL Cy Young candidate are behind him. Bauer is having a really great year this year. Clevenger's doing really well in San Diego now. And he was doing really well before they traded him. So if you would have kept Bauer, Clevenger, you would have had Clevenger, Bauer, Bieber, Plesac, and McKenzie. That's a really great top five. Granted, how are you going to keep them all? But that's a really great top five. But as just looking this from the outside, like I said, 2, 3, 4 years down the road. But is there any way that they are going to trade him? We'll have to see. That's more of a news of the future thing, if anything. And then the other record that happened yesterday was the Tampa Bay Rays built an all-lefty lineup, which was the first time that this happened in modern day baseball. And from everything that I looked at, it was the first time since 1901 that happened. Which, I mean, just wow, really. I can understand why you don't want to just build an all-lefty lineup, because usually lefties hit better against righties and vice versa. But there are some batters that like the same-handed pitcher as them. And I mean, it was the right decision from Kevin Cash, who said that he made the lineup changes due to the offense struggling, which that's fine. You got to do what you got to do. You're first in the AL East. The Yankees are struggling. Now they're starting to surge back up again. The Blue Jays have looked good this year. Orioles have looked really good, especially at the start. And the Red Sox are the Red Sox. So you got to keep your hold on that first place lead in the division. And it worked. I mean, they put up 11 runs on 12 hits at the Trop. So, is there any way that Cash is going to do it again? Or at least not have one or two righties in the lineup? I'd be surprised to see what he does, considering they put up 11 runs. Granted, Andrew Triggs of the Red Sox was pitching, but still, they put up 11 runs on 12 hits. Let's see if they do it again. And then something that looked pretty scary when it happened was Ronald Acuna. He had a foul tip and it hit him in the ankle, if I'm not mistaken, or in the leg. I thought it was the ankle. It looked really bad when it happened, and just looking back at it, it still looks pretty bad. And it doesn't happen on every play, but it happens enough to just anybody, any hitter. He misses a fracture, and now he's day by day. So that's really great for Acuna and the Braves, considering Acuna's been hot. The Braves are on absolute fire. Atlanta's getting burned down again like it's 1865. Sherman's coming through. But no, just what can I say about the Braves other than everybody that needs to be batting well is, and if Acuna would have been out, I don't think it would have slowed down their offense as much, but it would have hurt Acuna this season, considering he's not getting those plays, he's not playing the games, he might come back rusty, and Acuna is one of the best players in the league, in the game right now. So watching him play is a joy. It's like watching Picasso paint, or watching John Williams compose a score for a film. You're watching a master of what they do what they do, and do what they do well. And it's absolutely fantastic watching. You're just left jaw dropped, and you're like, how is this guy so good when he makes it so effortlessly? And a couple of guys that I wanted to touch on these guys since I touched on Acuna with the Braves. Ozuna and Adam Duvall have been on fire the past week or so. Adam Duvall, from just watching the NLDS last year with the Braves Cardinals, Adam Duvall, when he came in off the bench, was, you could argue, maybe the second most feared hitter. The dude, every time he came up, was always getting hits, and if it was a one-run lead or whatever for St. Louis, he hit the homer to tie it, or hit the homer to put him over. But no matter what happened, Duvall was always in the right spot at the right time, doing the right things. And Marcell Ozuna, who signed a 1-year, $18 million contract before pandemic happened, and now he is making $6 2/3 million, or $6 2/3 million. That is an absolute steal for the Braves. Ozuna bet on himself, left St. Louis where he was struggling. He wasn't what St. Louis envisioned him to be, considering the numbers that he put up in Miami in his last year with Miami. But Ozuna bet on himself, and he is looking every bit of the $18 million the Braves paid him. And that offense right there is what the Cardinals envisioned him to be. And it didn't really work. It worked in some spots, weeks, but he can never stretch it out the full season. But Ozuna's looking absolutely great. That's the hitter that he was coming out of Miami. And it just stopped. It floundered. And now the Braves got it. And the Braves lineup looks even more feared with him, and now Duvall looking really good. Cause look, that Braves lineup is scary. because you got what? Well, you got the DH this year, so that kind of helps. So Ozuna doesn't have to necessarily play left. But let's say this: let's say you got Duvall in left, Acuna in center. What, Marquez still in right, if I'm not mistaken. Freeman at first, Albies at second, Swanson's at short, who's having a really good season. Who's their third baseman? Crap. It's not Austin Riley, is it? And then their catcher is... Crap. Why am I blanking? I don't know. But that lineup is absolutely feared. It's scary. And the offense is what took them to the playoffs last year. It was the pitching that let them fall out of the playoffs. And if they can get timely pitching, like what Max Fried has done this season, stepping in for Soroka since he's out, if they can get Fried to overperform this season, and Fultonevich to look like what he did at the end of last year, and most of last year actually, they could maybe go far. Sticking in the NL East, I wanted to talk about DeGrom, who it seems like for the first time in his entire Major League career, he got run support, and he got a lot of it. The Mets put up 18 runs against the Blue Jays for DeGrom, which, when I saw that, I'm like, what? DeGrom got run support? DeGrom never gets run support. He usually gets like 0 to 2 runs, and the team usually puts up 2 to 1, or 1 to 2 runs, and then the Mets usually lose because their bullpen blows it or something. I mean, that's at least last season in a bundle. Could have been the year before. And then to end it out, again, sticking in the NL East, that's kind of funny. Zach Wheeler injured his hand putting on a pair of pants. Now, when you look at the headline, it's kind of funny. Kind of is. When you just look at the headline, and you're like, okay, just going to MLB's website, and you're like, what? Zach Wheeler hurt himself putting on a pair of pants? You can't believe it. Like, how the hell is that going to happen? From what the article read from MLB's website, it said that he got his nail caught putting on his pants, ripped a little bit of it off, and blood and soreness started happening. Joe Girardi, the new manager for the Phillies, is like, you gotta be kidding me, really? Just anything that can happen will happen, and at the worst possible time. Because Zach Wheeler's had a really good season. He's, I think, taken that next step in his development to be maybe a top pitcher for the Phillies. When he was with the Mets, I didn't see him as the top pitcher. I saw him as like middle of the order kind of guy. Because you had DeGrom, you had Syndergaard, and Wheeler didn't need to be that top guy. He didn't need to be overly dominant. He didn't need to do any of that. Now in Philadelphia, he's showing that he can, which is absolutely perfect for him. And this kind of slows him down a little bit. And the thing that I saw from the article was kind of interesting. He's had this problem since junior year in high school, where it's something with his pitch grip, and it'll rub and lift up his nail, which as a pitcher you don't want, because if anything with your nails mess up, or anything with your fingertips really, you can't grip the ball right, and then instead of throwing a curveball in the dirt, you probably hang it, and there's a grand slam right there in the worst possible time. But I was just really surprised to see that he's been dealing with this since junior year, and you've never heard anything about it through his years with the Mets. He's just done a really good job of protecting it and not letting it get injured, and putting on a pair of pants was what did him in. But no, that's the end of the video. I wanted to end it on something that wasn't injuring a body part while putting on some pair of pants brings a little levity to the to everything. Little levity. It's a little funny. It's not life threatening. It's not amputation worthy. Um, it's just some levity to whatever that to everything that's going on. So that's the end of the video. If you guys liked it, press the like button. Subscribe down below. That would be greatly appreciated. Share this video with all your friends and buddies. And I'll see you guys in the next video, which will probably be later today.